Let's see here. Just doing some adjustments, guys. I've got to stand here, and I'm trying to. I should have done this to begin with. All right. So this video is what I'm doing is I'm live streaming, but I'm not live streaming live. I'm live streaming to my account, and the reason I'm doing that is, where is the camera? That's right there. Duh, I'm over here looking over here. The reason I'm live streaming to my account for two reasons. One is so that my phone doesn't fill up. It does fill up, and I don't want a video that I'm making to be cut off in the middle of it. Even though I can edit it, it ends it until I go upload it and whatnot. And the other reason is I'm trying this out for the first time. The last time I was with James, he did that, and I was like, "How do you do that?" I didn't ask him. I figured I'd figure it out myself. And I think that's what it is. You just list it as non-public. It goes up to your account, and I think it says that anybody who has the link can watch it. What I'll do is I'll put it in a public link and whatnot. I'll recopy it over. Anyway, with that said, I'll go ahead and get started. This topic is on fasting. I will warn you, this is a religious / non-religious topic. What I mean by non-religious is that some people fast for health reasons. Some people fast to lose weight. I fasted for multiple reasons. Some were healthy, some for health, and some for religious reasons. And the reason that this is also that I'm warning that it's religious, this video is going to be religious because that's what it is. I'm coming at this as a Christian, and that was one of the primary reasons I fasted. So it's been about 2 months since I started fasting, guys, to be honest. I did an 11-day fast, straight up 11 days. All I did was drink water. I think on the last 2 days, I introduced some apple cider vinegar with some lemon in it. And what else did I introduce? I introduced something else to that as well. I think there was something else, but it was liquid. It was no food, non-food whatsoever. And my intention on that fast was to do 21 days. I didn't do 21 days. It turned out that on that particular fast, there was a reason for it. We'll call it a mission. And it was like the Blues Brothers. I was on a mission from God. I didn't know what the mission was. It didn't come to me right away. It was baby steps for me. And to be perfectly honest, God was gracious enough to walk me through those baby steps. Because I think if he threw everything at me, and I know this, if he threw everything at me at one time, I would be overwhelmed. I would overthink it. I would screw it up. And so what he's been doing with my walk these last several years is just taking me step by step, guys. The man in me, the person who I am, wishes I could get the full picture at one time so I could understand it and analyze it, because I'm a thinker. I like to think that I'm a thinker. And no, God's not the way God's worked with me. God's been like, one step at a time, son. You need to learn how to walk, and you need to learn how to fall. And right now earlier you were crawling, and now it's time for you to take some baby steps, and you're going to fall down, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But you need to learn from that. And that's what he's been doing with me. And the same thing has happened with fasting. So I'll say on my first fast that in a previous video, I had mentioned that I wanted to do a 21-day fast because I had seen a video on it. A guy had come off the 21-day fast. He described it, and I just immediately knew that's what I wanted to do. And there's no, for me at the time, there was no, I need to train for it. It was, I just need to fast. So I started it, and the first day I failed. I went to like 90% of the day, and then I was dying. Any little excuse, and I was like, okay, I'm going to eat. So day one, I ate. So I didn't fast. Well, I did a mini fast. Day two came along, same thing. I got through most of the day, and then bam, I failed again. Day three, went through most of the, what I was going through, and I failed. Now, I'm going to tell you that this video, I will hint at some things, and I'll describe those things on another video. describing some religious, my religious. When I'm using the word religious, guys, and for me, I normally use words like my walk, my relationship, my conversations with God. But there may be people who are non-believers watching, and I want to respect that. I don't want to overwhelm, and please don't take the term non-believer as derogatory. It's not meant as derogatory. It's meant as you know what? There are things that I believe that you don't believe, and vice versa. So that's what I mean by that, is that we just don't believe the same things. But you're curious enough to be here, or you want some information on fasting, I respect that. So with that said, I'm trying to keep this somewhat generic in description. There was a reason I did my 11-day/21-day fast. I had discussed in a prior video, I mentioned in a prior video, that I have struggled with porn addiction. And when I say struggle, guys, I mean, at the time, it was like a once a month deal, maybe once every maybe twice a month on a bad month. But as a young man, the addiction was daily. And I can call it an addiction because, health organization has said it as such. There's medical journals out there has described it as such. Sexual addiction, pornography addiction, it's classified as an addiction like any other addiction. Alcoholism, name the drug. Listen, we can all be addicted to pretty much anything, right? Food, shopping, reading books, socializing, you name it. So I don't walk in shame when I say that I have that problem, because let's face it, I've never been to AA. I don't have a problem with drinking, but from my understanding, in AA, they say once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. You can never have another drink. I can never go back to that life. So I must acknowledge that is something that I will have a lifelong struggle with. So with that said, and I'll get into more detail later on, and I'm sorry, guys, I've taken a long time on this. I'm really trying to get to the fasting. That was one of my motivations for starting my 21-day fast. I had several false starts, and then I just went into it. I was so frustrated and so in just a place that I need to. So there were 3 reasons I fasted. My 3 motivations, and the reason I bring out the motivations, you got to have a motivation to fast. It's not easy. I'm not going to lie to you. It was not easy. I had to have a reason to do it. My 3 reasons: a spiritual growth, for health benefits, and to help me overcome pornography. Those are my 3 reasons. Did I know how that was going to play out? Not a clue. But I knew that I had to have 3 real reasons to do it. I went 11 days. On the 11th day, the Holy Spirit told me, you can break your fast. He didn't tell me, I want you to break your fast. He told me, you can break your fast. And honestly, guys, that's what I was like, okay, you sure? I questioned him. After I got that word, I questioned him. Seriously, can I ask for clarification on this, Holy Spirit? Because truthfully, I've gone 11 days and I don't want to mess this up. And he said, sure, absolutely. I got a text. I think there was a little glitch there, so I'm back. It was mercy he showed me, and it was beautiful. So what I experienced on that 11-day fast, because that was my biggest fast. Here's what I experienced. This is what I read on fasting. A little education. The human body was designed to fast, is what I learned. I will encourage you to Google that. I will say that I read part of a study that indicated that when a bear goes into hibernation, they're going into a type of fasting, and their metabolism changes and it slows down. There were certain organs that slow down, and there's a transition from there's a transition that happens in their body, and they go into a ketosis state, and their body starts to consume the fat that they've stored. Part of the study that I read indicated that the human body is exactly like a bear. It was designed to switch over. Now, the switchover isn't fast. It takes about 3 days. Here's the stages. Let me get a drink of water. Here's the stages of that process. The first thing the body's going to consume first is glucose, sugar. That's your carbs. That's your sugars. And that's going to last anywhere from 24 to 48 hours. After that process completes, or at the end of that process, or during that, toward the end of that process, the body then starts to consume muscle proteins. And you will probably, if you research this, you'll read that, no, you can't fast because you'll eat yourself up and you will start to lose muscle mass. And I'm going to tell you that it's not a lie. Your body is designed to consume. You're going into cannibalism, a cannibalistic state. You're going into starvation mode. The body was designed to do this. The transition into proteins is about the second day and into the third day. But what happens is it goes into the proteins because it's the next fastest thing to consume. At about the end of the second day or into the third day, the body then recognizes, okay, now I am in true starvation mode. Let me go ahead and switch over to the lipids, the fats. This is the stuff we all want to get rid of, right? The fats. And now this process, let me tell you how it works. The sugar gets consumed fast. I mean, it's consumed really fast. The body will look for all the sugar in the body it can get, and it consumes it fast. Then the protein is the next fastest thing it consumes. But it's a slower process than the sugar consumption. But when it gets over to the lipids or the fats, that process is a slow process. It takes time. Now, it doesn't mean that the body's not consuming sugars. If you eat any sugar, it's going to use that sugar up right away. And it's still consuming your muscles. But what's happened with the muscles is now the muscle consumption of the proteins have slowed down considerably. It's not as slow as the fat consumption, but it's slow. It's going to make you, I'm not going to tell you what's going to make you, because I'm not a doctor and I'm not going to go there. And if I didn't say this before, I'll say it now. I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving health advice. What I'm telling you is what I've read, and what I'm telling you is what I've experienced. So the thing is when you go into ketosis and the fats are now being consumed. Now I'm going to tell you some gross stuff. My urine was really yellow. It was a considerable yellow. It wasn't a bright yellow like I took a bunch of vitamins. It was a kind of a dark yellow. I was a little concerned about this until I realized what was going on. What I realized was going on is that toxins that had been stored in my fats since the fats were being consumed, the toxins were being flushed out. And my urine stunk. I'll be honest. My urine stunk. And it was very important for me to drink a lot of water. Listen, I have a water shop. I drank my alkaline water. I'm not saying you have to drink alkaline water. I'm saying that's what I drank. And it was important for me to drink a good amount of water. I probably drank somewhere in the neighborhood, but about a gallon a day on average. Some days less than that. Honestly, when I had my worst hunger pains, and there were hunger pains, I was hungry, I would drink water and it would curb it for a bit. I'd like to say that on that first fast, that the first week went by without incident. And no, I was hungry all 7 days. No, actually, I was hungry most of the 11 days. What I had read and what I had heard was that around the second week of about a 3-week fast, the second week your hunger would really subside. It did not subside for me. It kept going. But I tolerated it. I went through it. I learned to deny myself. Now that is a Christian thing. That was a religious thing. It was important for me to learn to deny myself. I had my motivations to do so. And so I did. Now I'm going to tell you, now this is going a little religious. I was doing this on my own strength. Day 1, 2, and 3 was my own strength. Day 4, I finally cried out to God. I hadn't cried out to God, guys. I hadn't done it. But on day 4, I finally cried out to God, and I said, Lord, I need your help. I don't want to quit this fast. I'm hungry. I'm on the verge of ending this thing, and he came through. He gave me, I can't quantify or tell you exactly what he did for me. I just know that I had the endurance to continue forward. I don't want to say that it got easier. It didn't. It just, I was able to get through it. Something else that I did introduce, and this is gross. I'm sorry about that. I went ahead and introduced coffee enemas. Now, you can research coffee enemas. There are products you can buy on YouTube. I'm sorry, on Amazon. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and link those, what I purchased and what I used. Again, I'm not a doctor. I don't play one on TV. I'm just going to tell you what I believe and what it did for me. From what I understand, from what I've read, it helps. Doing a coffee enema helps the liver and the gallbladder flush out toxins. Now, understand that right now I'm going through this fast and I'm flushing toxins that have been stored in my fat. What are the organs that are responsible for dealing with those toxins? Honestly, it's the liver and the gallbladder. Another system that's responsible for dealing with toxins is my lymphatic system. And I'll touch on that a bit. I actually had some lymphatic discomfort, and I had previously learned a little bit basic, super basic, how to do lymphatic massages on myself. Like, if I was getting a cold or something, I could do lymphatic massage to move the lymphatic system. YouTube's got that in spades. I'm not going to cover that, but I'll say that I did that. There were times that I felt congested, and I did lymphatic massages, and I felt relief from that. I did the coffee enemas, and I felt relief from that. My body, all I was trying to do was allow my body to flush these toxins that were in my system. Remember, one of the reasons I was doing this was for health reasons. When I say that, I'm going to tell you this: I just didn't feel good. I was overweight. I'm still overweight. I was overweight, and I didn't feel good, and I knew I needed to do something. And this is what I did. This is what God, the Holy Spirit, encouraged me to do, and so I went that route. Now, this is about 2 months later that I'm making this video. Since then, I've done an 11-day fast. I did a 3.5-day fast, and I did a 6.5-day fast. You can say I did a 3 and a 7. By the way, for a total of 21 days. And that was not intentional. It just happened that way. I feel good. I feel real good. This last 7-day fast I did, guys, it went really easy. It was nothing. I was hungry, but it was nothing like that first one. It was amazing. I have another 3-day fast coming up, and that's for a purpose, for another reason. That's going to be coming up this weekend. So I found a freedom, because now I'm not eating like crazy afterward. I'm trying to eat a more keto diet. But I still splurge. I still enjoy things that I enjoyed before, but nothing on the level that I did before. And I think I'm able to do that now because I know that I'm going to fast and get rid of that. It's not an excuse for me to go crazy. It's not. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. So for me, I will tell you that the religious aspect of fasting did not come. I didn't have to work at it. I'll put it to you like that. God honored my fasting, guys. I'm not going to sit here and paint a picture that I was Mr. praying every day and reading my word every day and meditating, and no. You don't understand. I was Mr. Walking Misery. I was not in a good place, but there was enough recognition, and I cried out at the time I need to cry out, and I did talk to him, and he honored that, and he showed up. I'm going to tell you like that. He just showed up, and he spoke to me, and he nurtured me, and he healed me in ways, emotional ways, spiritual ways. And he just spiritually he came down and just gave me a huge bear hug, and he held my hand through the process. And ever since then, every fast I've done since then, it's been pretty much the same thing. He's come through and he's spoken to me, and people have been blessed by it. It hasn't been a selfish thing, because here's the deal. Every time I fasted, God has put people in my path to, we'll say talk to. I don't want to say more than that, to talk to. And there's been comfort there, and I'll leave it at that. And so, yeah, that's it. In a nutshell, when you fast, it's not going to be easy, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. In the beginning for me, there was a lot of false starts, but it was like training, you know. The first 3 days were the hardest, but the first fast, the first all 11 days were hard. I urinated a lot, and my urine stank, and it was real yellow. But I completely stayed hydrated, and it was part of the process. It was something that I had read would happen, and it happened. And I did coffee enemas, and I did lymphatic massages on myself. Here's something else. On that first fast, I had no energy. I was exhausted. My body had not been trained, I guess, fully to deal with that in a transition. So here at the shop, my wife was doing most of the lifting and most of the work. I was there. I'd get up. I'd help a customer, and then I was exhausted. I was really tired. I slept a lot. When I say I slept, my sleeping pattern changed. Where I would go to sleep at a much later time, now I was going to sleep earlier. I'd get up earlier as well, but that was beautiful because God was waking me up to talk to me and having me pray in the middle of the night, and it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. So I think that's all I've got to say on fasting. Jesus did it for 40 days. Different people in the Bible did it for different amount of days. I have read that an average person could do it for 40 days. I'm not called to do 40 days, at least not yet. I hope not. I wanted to do my 21 day. It turned out that I ended up doing my 21 day in 3 separate occasions when you added it up, and that was fine for me. That was beautiful. That was a gift from God. That wasn't even me. I didn't intend that. That's probably why he told me I could go ahead and quit on my 11th day, because he knew what plan he had for me. And I'm walking in obedience. At this point, if he tells me I would like you to fast, and here's the deal, guys, he hasn't told me I have to fast. He's told me I'd like you to fast, or it'd be a good idea to fast. And I'm really trying to walk in obedience on that. And every time I've done it, he's come through. And I'm trying to be cautious about it, because I really don't want this to be me. I really want this to be him. The health part of it seemed to be a fringe benefit to the whole thing. It was a motivation in the beginning, and every time I fast, I know I'm gonna do good. I'm gonna get health benefits out of it. I think what's going on, here's another thing. I will throw this out there, guys, and I encourage you to research it yourself. Don't listen to me. There has been research done for people who are going through chemo, through therapies, and what I read was that there was one or several case studies where they took a group of people and they asked them to fast after their therapies. I think it was a 3-day fast. And they took another group and they were the control and they didn't fast. And what they found was that the people who fasted recovered a lot faster after their therapies. And what they determined was that the body was, I guess I got to tell you this part. So I'll tell you this and then I'll continue. What they discovered was their bodies, their immune systems were rebooted faster. This was important to me, this next part I'm about to tell you. I had read this about fasting, and I had seen a video, and I think it's on Amazon. and it was about a place in Russia where they do these long fasts for health reasons. And what they talked about was that the human body, when it goes into starvation mode, it sends cells out, special cells out. When it goes into cannibalism, it's eating itself. It starts to consume the damaged or the non-functioning cells first. So we'll talk about the immune system. So let's say you have 100 white blood cells, and a portion of those blood cells are old. They're older. They're not working at 100%, but they're still functioning. So the body uses them. And let's say some of those cells are damaged, but the body hasn't gotten rid of them because they're still there. When you go into starvation mode, guess what the body does? It goes out and it starts to eliminate damaged cells first. It goes for those cells. It recognizes it by God's design. It recognizes them, and it starts to consume the damaged ones first, the non-functioning ones first, the older ones first. So then you have an immune system now that's less effective because there's less cells. We got that. That's going on through the fast. But guess what happens when you start to eat? The body's like, hey, yay, we can start over again. So it starts to build a new immune system. It starts to replace those white blood cells, and they're brand new white blood cells. And so the consensus was from this particular documentary I saw was that the body is more effective in dealing with its own issues, and I'll keep it like that, because it has a new immune system, or a restored immune system. I shouldn't say restored, a newer immune system. So every time I've gone to a fast, I understand that I'm getting rid of the old stuff. When I come back to eat, I'm gonna get some new stuff, which is even more important for me to eat the right stuff when I come back, because I want my body to replenish itself with the right foods, with the right nutrients. And so for me, guys, fasting has been wonderful. Now, I will say this, if you don't know, I am a 2-time cancer survivor. I've had kidney cancer twice. I lost my right kidney in 96, and I lost a portion of my left kidney in 2012. I am functioning off of a portion of a kidney, and I'm doing everything in my power to keep it as healthy as possible and stay healthy as possible. Hence the reason for my concerns. I think that's it. This is coming on 30 minutes. Guys, honestly, I thought this was going to be a 5 or 10 minute video. Sorry about that, but it is what it is. I really appreciate your time. If you have any questions, put them down there on the bottom, and I'll answer them as best as possible. I am not a doctor. I'm not a health practitioner. This is not health advice. This is merely my journey. This is my opinion. These are my religious beliefs. And, lately I've been getting some pushback. I don't want to call them trolls. Pushback from people who have other beliefs. Some comments I've just outright deleted because I thought they were too divisive. I don't even know if that's the right word. Some comments I've left up there because I do believe in freedom of speech. Yeah. So that's it, guys. Thank you so much. God bless. If you have any prayer requests, put them on the bottom, and I'll do my best to pray for you guys. I appreciate it. And either tomorrow or the next day, I'll put out another video. The video I'll describe what I did in Fort Worth and how that 7-day fast went. And that is going to be a religious video. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it, and God bless.